Ja, det är Josh och det är Joe och det är Lizzie från Halestorm. Ge dem en applåd då! Kom igen då! Wow, 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 wow. Have a seat.
Oh, no, you got one of those things. Yeah.
Hi,
everybody.
I'm the guy from Queensryche.
Yeah, you are.
So, very nice. Can I have a seat as well, maybe?
No.
No, okay.
Please.
So, guys, all of you except for RJ is here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where's he?
I think he was still sleeping.
Yeah, he's
Was
sleeping.
he? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
We lose him every day.
Yeah.
If the day has not gone by where somebody has said, "Where's RJ?" It's just not going to be a good
He
day.
could be here.
He could be
might
here.
be.
Well, no, we would hear him. We would hear him.
Is he still the guy who's like totally
Loud?
everywhere?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
He's
He's been that way since he was that tall.
human.
I don't think it's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, he's a human tornado. It's great.
So we talked a little bit earlier about Vicious. I didn't even ask you why the name Vicious then. Is it of the album?
Well, what we loved about the word vicious is that I think that it just said everything that we wanted to say. And with me, I like taking words that are normally derogatory and then making them into positive words. So for me, vicious is about being bold and being fierce. And what I realized by writing this record is that for me nowadays it takes so much more to handle life and everything. It takes so much more than just being strong and taking it and weathering the storm. I have to face everything head on and be completely unapologetic with myself and with everybody that I know. So yeah, so to me vicious is a very positive word.
How do you feel like if you are that powerful in that kind of process, and when it's done, do you like crash?
For me, it was almost a rebirth with this record. I started out right before we started recording, not really understanding or knowing what I wanted to do. We're very bad at that. We're like, we never want to repeat ourselves. If we get bored, you're gonna know. So we always, it's a fight to keep that fire and to keep that excitement, going with the things that we do. So we kind of had to find that throughout this record. And so we came out on the other side being like, hell yes, awesome, we still got it. So yeah.
We still got it.
Yeah, still got it.
It took a while too to make.
did take a
I'm still sexy, y'all.
still got it. But and so I think by the time we finally did, have it out, we were ready. We were beyond ready to start playing these songs live. And
you did a cover album a few years ago, and I know you did Slate to Grind and.
Has it been a few years? Time is just a concept. It's not even a real thing.
What was the last one we did? How long ago? That was a
We
while
did.
ago.
It was our third EP. It was
16?
2016.
Really?
I don't know, John.
We did it with Nick.
Yeah.
The same producer. It's like our, dip
Test
our
him out.
toes in the water and see if we like the pool.
How often do you play those songs? I mean, if you do play a cover, will that still be like Slate to Grind?
We try to switch everything up. The good and bad problem about having, 4 major albums and 3 EPs and a bunch of live stuff is that you got to fit it all into one night. There's always going to be someone who's disappointed. So, especially, I know, especially on this tour, we've been just switching everything up. So yeah, and
We haven't played really. Have we done any?
because we just
covers this
released a
tour?
record, we're like,
No.
we want to play the new songs.
Yeah, we've got to play the new songs.
It's
right
probably
now.
been 2 or 3 tours now at this point since we've played a.
It's like,
cover
play a
song.
cover, or you play
I'd
one of the
have to
new
relearn
songs.
it. It's already gone from
Yeah.
my.
It's quite
brain.
fun when you told me about, because you did play Slate to Grind with Sebastian once, up-tuned, right?
Yes, we
And-
forgot to tell him.
Well, yeah. We played it where we recorded it, and he didn't know that it was quite a few ticks up.
So he had to scream a bit.
5 steps.
Yeah.
5 steps.
He did it though, but he looked at me with fear in his eyes, like I didn't realize what I was getting myself into.
But
Yeah.
he's very
Killed it.
talented.
Killed it.
He is, yeah. So
He's very talented.
long story short, so we play this song, and he comes into our dressing room. I have this great idea because I'm going to be playing "Slave to the Grind" too, but I want to come up and sing it with you in your set, and then you can come and sing it in my set. So we're like, okay, that's a great idea. totally forgot to tell him that we changed the key. We raised it a couple. And so he came out swinging and he hit the notes. But then, of course, he looks at me like, what am I doing? And so this is the first time I've ever met, Sebastian. So I'm like, oh no, he's pissed at me. And so I go into his dressing room like, I'm so sorry, Sebastian. I totally forgot to tell you. And he's like, oh, don't worry. I'm very talented. And then immediately he wants to know where I got my rubber pants because he still has his from 1982. And he wants to know if they're still in fashion. I'm like, yes, absolutely. You should totally wear them. So, yes.
Sebastian. Any fans from you guys? Raise your hand. Questions.
Oh.
Any fans from you guys?
Yes. Any fans in the audience tonight?
Starting with you guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi.
Should I ask you? Hello. Michael here. Hi. Should I ask you and rewind a little bit? All your energy, where do you get it from? You're out on the tour all the time and playing new songs and writing new songs and so on.
Our energy, we dig deep. It also helps not to think about it. Especially in the beginning of this tour, because we knew it was going to be, 6 weeks we're out here or something like that. You just don't think about time. You don't think about being tired. You just the goal is to do a rock show.
Day to day.
Day to day, yeah.
You could be ready for a nap 30 minutes before the show, but then
And all of a sudden,
as soon as you get on stage, it's like, whoa, all right.
Yeah, okay,
It's
we're
like
here.
instant
Yeah.
adrenaline.
We learned that lesson though. We don't. That's a rule. No napping.
No napping.
no napping.
Within an hour of the show, because you can't get your brain together then.
Because you wake up like you just came back from outer space and you're trying to deal with gravity. You wake up like, oh God, what is this? It's real life. Yeah, it's terrible.
Terrible.
No
Real life.
naps. Just keep going. It's funny because it'll happen the last tour. We were out for 5 weeks straight, and everything was great. I'm like I never lost my voice. We didn't get sick once, And then the day after the tour ended, we got home, and I think I slept for 12 hours straight, just dead to the world. So yeah, you wait till after.
What you got? No.
And anybody but you. Anybody. He keeps right.
What's your name?
My name is Oscar, and thanks again for meeting us. And it was very nice to meeting you at the Hard Rock Cafe just a few months ago. So I
yes.
appreciate that. Thank you.
A stalker.
No, just happened to win another contest. So my question was, you did a collaboration with Lindsey Sterling. That was very very nice. Any other things like that planned for the future?
I usually say yes first and then figure it out later. Which is usually how that happens. It's something will come through and be like, oh, this looks interesting, sure. And then we're like, wait, what do you want me to do? What? So absolutely. There's a couple different things that actually is coming up. That I can't talk about. That you will probably see pictures and.
Will you be the singer on my solo record?
You have a solo record?
Sure.
Wait, you have fans?
No.
No, we did meet one fan.
That's
in
why he
Poland.
needs you.
He has one fan in Poland.
One fan. Yeah.
But you have me, Joe.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of you.
I'll sell 2
But he
records.
won't buy your record
No,
though.
I'm gonna stream it online.
Yeah.
I won't pay you unless you take me out fishing.
Okay. Then I'll just give you a copy.
Ah, sweet. A CDR.
I'll throw you a bone.
All right.
What's your name?
Patrick,
Patrick.
I wonder, we talked about the covers here earlier. Which Swedish band would you cover if you got
Ooh.
the chance?
Ghost.
I was just gonna say Tobias, but
Yeah. Yeah. I love that new Ghost record. It's been my favorite record of the year so
Faith.
far.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that song's great. Beep-a-doo-doo, beep-a-doo-boo.
But not using guitar, just your voice.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Yeah.
My name is Daniel. I was wondering about your songwriting process, because in the first album it was you mainly from the band that wrote, and the last record mainly the whole band. How have it changed?
In the beginning we were kind of keeping everything simple, and also this was our first time being involved with a major label, so there was a lot of people around me that were like, hey, what you got, you know? And so just kind of immersed myself into just the songwriting circuit, and I got to write with a lot of amazing people, and I learned a lot just about being a songwriter and about what it takes to do that. And but before the first record, I mean, that's what we did in my parents' basement. It was just the four of us, you know, hunkering down. Okay, who's got an idea? All right, let's make a song out of that. Oh, you got a line? Cool. You got a riff? Awesome. Here's a bass line. So really, for this record, we wanted to take everything we learned over the past couple of years, but also throw away all of the rules. So we threw all of those things away, and just honestly, it's so much more freeing when you are not working with a formula. So for me, there are certain songs on this record that came from me, as in like, hey guys, I have this song, how can I make it cool? And they helped me make it cool. And then there are some songs that we all basically started off instrumentally, just jamming with each other and just chasing after whatever got us excited. So really, songwriting is more about chasing what gets you excited and going down that rabbit hole, being willing to work for like 3 days straight on the same song and then be like, nah, throw it away. You have to be willing to do that. And so we did that for this record, and so far so good. Yeah.
How important is it to make a record these days?
Yeah, right. Isn't that the big discussion?
Yeah, I know.
What's the point?
I think that it's a personal choice, because I still love records, and I still love hearing if I love an artist, I want to hear what they do. I want to hear how they would put these songs together. I want to look at the artwork, because I mean, we can attest to the fact that it's hard. It's hard work. Yes, it's fun, and thank whoever up there that we get to do, you know, what we love as a living now. But it's tough. It's hard work to put songs together and to deal with the politics of the business, and you know, to even write a great song, you have to write 60 terrible songs, and then you have like 2 that are like, well, they'll do, you know. So I love thinking about all those things when I'm listening to a record. So at the same time, yeah, it's becoming more trendy to instant gratification.
Yeah, maybe it's better to just keep putting out new things all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would actually rather do that. I would rather, instead of waiting 3 years to do another record, let's just do another one next year.
Right?
Sounds good. Any more questions? Vacation.
My name is Paul, and I'm so short, so no one knows if I'm standing or sitting. My question is, what artists have inspired each one of you most?
It's tough to narrow it down to just one. For me, I'll just kind of start, since I'm talkative. I grew up a lot on my dad's music, so it was a lot of 70s and 80s hard rock and metal, even though I was a teenager in the 90s, so a lot of my friends did not understand the fact that I was listening to Alice Cooper and Cinderella and Black Sabbath when I was younger, Van Halen, that kind of stuff, when they were all listening to Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls and all of that. But I still carry that with me today.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. My thing about my favorite records of all time would be Wildflowers and Grace by Jeff Buckley. So Tom Petty and Buckley, that's what my go-to usually. But then there's like all this rock and roll hard rock and metal that I love too. So I don't know, somewhere in there.
But you started 90s kid though, right?
Yeah, it was the 90s that got me into music. Nirvana, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam.
NSYNC. Big influence.
Yes. Just the dance moves get me every time.
Joey's so hot.
He's just that puppet thing they do. Hot.
Josh?
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I think as an artist, you pull inspiration from everything, and I started as a classical piano player, and that wasn't cool, but
it is today.
Yeah, but like when I was in middle school, I learned about Ben Folds, and to me, he's like a nerd on the piano, but like it was cool. And so I don't know, that made me think like, well, it doesn't matter what you do, you just gotta do it. But then child of the 90s, so like again in middle school I remember like seeing someone made a picture of Smashing Pumpkins, like their own version of it. I was like, what the hell is that? But then I found out like a few weeks later, like I heard the music and I was like, this is really cool. And we just saw them like a couple months ago, and
so good.
And it was like, just
Great show. I think they're coming over here with that tour. It's in a, like, I've seen them a bunch of times and I never really talked about it, but that last show was really good.
It's like the Smashing Pumpkins you always thought of,
You
like
always
it's like what you heard growing up, so it was cool.
How often do you go to concerts?
Whenever we can, if it's a
Whenever you
band
can.
you want to see, but yeah, we're not home much, so it's not that often.
It's weird because it's like you would think, and we've actually talked about this before. They're like, okay, so when you go home, like the last thing you want to do is go to a show, and we're the complete opposite. We want to see somebody else do a show, because like for us, it's the complete opposite experience. As in, like you guys are the show for us, and so we're like making faces at you, and you guys are singing the songs, and you breathe life into what we do, and so it's fun to just be like. The last time I was like semi in like mosh pit was we went to see Opeth, and because Gojira was opening, and man, it was just like being 17 again, just like it was awesome. So like we like doing that.
Yeah, there's
too.
some good ones coming up too when we get home. We're home for like 2 weeks, and I think Machine Head's going to be in Nashville, and there's a new band, Ida May. They're so good. You got to see them live. It's just a husband and wife. Yeah,
I would love them.
It's like the dude is such a killer guitar player. He does a lot of slide, and it's all finger picking and a resonator. And he's the first guy I've ever heard that can do kind of those Jeff Buckley isms on his voice. Like his voice is insane.
It's think power of like Chris Stapleton, but Jeff Buckley range.
I like the way you paint pictures in my head, Lizzie. Wow. What was the name of the band?
Ida May.
So it's
Yeah, they're awesome.
IDA and then MAE.
But they're playing with Marcus King. Did you ever hear of him? He's
I know what it is.
killer
Killer.
guitar player.
Sweet.
There's all kinds of fun things coming through. We got tickets to go see Dickie Betts down in Florida. We were going to go fly down there, but he just got hurt and canceled the shows. Bummer.
Just because we were going.
Billy Gibbons was opening, and
Oh.
it'd have been a good guitar geek show, but
Love guitar geeks.
yeah.
Any more questions?
There's one.
There's one in the front.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Ingela. I was just wondering, what's your strongest memory from a concert? Like,
Not the Opeth concert.
A good memory or a not so good memory? Wow. Okay, so the first time this is kind of funny. It was still an amazing show, but first time this happened, it hasn't happened since. But when the first time that we saw the Foo Fighters, we saw them in a very intimate setting with Queens of the Stone Age. This was years ago, and it was the first time since I was a teenager that I decided to be in front row with my little brother, because my little brother's like, dude, we get to see Dave Grohl. I'm going to go up front. I'm like, you know what, little bro? I'm going to go up front with you. Stupid me. I was wearing high heels. Don't ever do that. Don't be in front row with her. It's because right before they started, according to my little brother, I turned to him and I said, I need some air. And I just went out. I passed out. I woke up, and the three of them are carrying me out like a battering ram, just like, move, everybody move. And so I had to watch the show from the back. Still a great show. But
Yeah, it would have been great up front.
I haven't
Would've
passed out since. It was just that one show.
Thanks, Liz.
The show is like an old theater, so the floor was already tilted, and then she had high heels on, so
Yeah,
she was
stupid.
basically on her tippy toes all night. And
Don't
then
do it, kids.
She went down.
I know you think you look
she,
great.
She
You're
didn't
gonna
go
regret it
down.
later.
We caught her and
Yes.
then turned her.
Like what happened?
Out of the way. Sorry. Boom. Sorry.
That's why I
Knocking my
don't
head
remember
into
anything.
doorways.
Yeah, you weren't actually passed out until we hit that first
No.
person.
But one of the coolest shows that I've ever been to was actually this recent show of Ghost. We went to. They did an evening with. So it was just all them all night, you know, and it was just amazing. Like everyone's playing and singing, and there's
funny.
a smile. I was laughing. It was great.
Rock and roll with a smile is
yeah.
always nice.
Sweet. Was that the last one, or do you have some more? We have one more.
Hi, I'm Malin.
Hello.
Did you get vocal training?
I did. When I was, and I still go back to this same basic stuff. And you know, it's funny. There's so many vocal teachers and vocal techniques out there, and usually the simplest ones are the best. When I was a teenager, I met a man by the name of Steve Whiteman, and he was in a band called Kicks back in the 80s. Yeah, see if somebody knows. Yeah. So we got to open up for him and his side project called Funny Money back in the day. This is when I was 16 or 17. And because, like I said before, I was influenced a lot by the 70s and 80s, I knew exactly who he was. And I saw him singing in a towel, trying to muffle his strange noises that he was making. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I'm warming up. I'm like, what is that? So he's like, well, I teach. And so would you like to come, you know, and hang out with me on Tuesday, and I'll teach you some stuff. So I was only going to go for one lesson, and I ended up staying with him for about 1.5 years, and he taught me everything he knows, and I still use most of the things that I learned from him to deal with every day. So yes, I highly recommend it.
You should give us his number then.
Yes.
I
I have it in my phone. Here you go. Call him at 4 a.m. He loves it.
Yeah, it's like 6 in the morning right now.
Yeah,
Steve,
call him right now. Steve,
you're on the radio.
You're live. What do you have to say?
What was it like teaching Lizzie? Go!
Now!
I have this thing.
Any more questions from you guys?
Like, we have given all of it away. We have no more things to.
So nice to have you guys here.
No,
And
thank you for having
us. Thank you for taking time doing this Q&A. It's always a pleasure, and I hope to come back. You said maybe you'll be back in next summer.
Yes.
I hope so.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not in charge.
Oh. But you're gonna be here, Joe.
Thank God.
All right.
So hands up for Halestorm. Woo!
Yay! No, thanks for having us, guys.